What's up, you guys? It's 2Bricks, and I have another update to my Microfleet series with a whole batch of new ships to show you guys from Star Wars Rebels, and I snuck in a couple from Rogue One as well, since Rogue One is so close in the timeline. I didn't think it was worth doing a whole nother video just to show you these couple of TIE variants that we got from that movie. So I'm going to be showing you guys today the Wookie Gunship, Ryder Azadi's Ewing, the TIE Defender, the Bladewing, which is the prototype of the B-Wing, the initial TIE Advanced kind of prototype, which was flown around by the Chief Inquisitor, and Captain Rex's modified ATTE slash walking house, along with the Phantom 2, or sorry, the Phantom 1 that kind of docks with it, and I'll show you guys those together in once we get into it. So yeah, got a lot to go over. So if you guys are excited to see how all of these ships are kind of scaled with the rest of the fleet, for those of you who are new to the channel, you might not know, the point of this series is to scale every single Star Wars ship that I can possibly think of to one another and represent them all in Lego, and eventually have the biggest fleet probably ever made of that type. Anyway, so yeah, you guys can go back down in the playlist and check out all the other videos covering all of the hundreds of other ships that I've created for this series, and yeah, you guys can have a lot of fun checking all those out. So yeah, without further ado, back to this video. We're going to take a look at the first ship right now. First of all, we'll take a look at the ones that are not from Rebels, the two from Rogue One. That's the TIE Striker and the TIE Reaper. And I just wanted to get these in here because we have Star Wars Squadrons coming out fairly soon, and we're going to be getting a playable version of this in the game, the TIE Reaper there, as a support craft. So I thought I'd just take this opportunity to get this one in here. Like I said, it's not worth its own video, so yeah, thanks to LEGO releasing these new wedge plates with the nice pointy tips, I'm able to get these specialized TIE designs that I could not get before. So this one is the TIE Striker, which in the movie predominantly has the wings in this configuration, but it can actually canonically adjust them to to face downwards as well. And I think this is a better look. But yeah, super simple design on this one, just a clip and a bar, and then two hollow studs on the outside here to represent the cockpit and just the back section of the body. It has kind of this long cylindrical kind of body in here, and yeah, it's, like I said, just the easiest little thing to do. And but it's from a Star Wars thing, so it has to be in my fleet. So simple as it is, there you go. And then the TIE Reaper here is a pretty unique Star Wars craft. It's a TIE landing craft, or a TIE like dropship, which we don't tend to see things of that sort really from the Empire. So it's nice to see this. So the design on this one relies on this old what they call like a video camera piece. Kids today are like, what the heck is a video camera? But yeah, it's got this kind of just gives me all the stud connections that I need to plug in all the different elements of the body. It has, again, those specialized plates at the front, and then just the regular fairly new 2x at the back to just finish off that shape, and then the continuous wing back here with this 1x3 that's just placed in there. So that all just works out really well. I like that it has the kind of menacing red cockpit windshield. That always just makes it look extra mean and aggressive, which I like. And yeah, this one just drops off typically your elite trooper units, like your death troopers and that sort of thing. And I like that it kind of has this like bull horns kind of look to it. I mean, how much more mean can you get than that, right? Just charging into battle and just like goring the enemy before you drop off your troops to decimate everybody. So yeah, I like the way that these turned out. And I think, like I said, sneaking them in here is forgivable, since we are right at the end of the kind of conflict between the Empire and the Rebellion. Right as things are about to get super serious. So there are the TIE Reaper and the TIE Striker. Next up, we have the TIE Defender, which is kind of has been brought back into canon, or recanonized, since Rebels reintroduced Thrawn into the mix, and Admiral Thrawn has this whole kind of scheme in place. I'll let you guys watch the show. You can check it out. But essentially, he was having these developed. It's a really weird, interesting design where each of these struts has two sort of diagonal, small, pointed triangular wings, sort of like interceptor wings, but in this three-form configuration. And then each of those has like guns at the tip of it. And so, obviously at the scale that I'm working at, just getting these wings represented is enough of a challenge that I just, yeah, I think it turned out, decently well for what it is. Just relying on this Technic piece, this, three-way connector piece in here, and then just plugging those wings into the ends of that. So I think that works out pretty nicely. And, oh yeah, and I'm just plugging in one of these inkwell pieces in here with the hollow stud to represent the cockpit, since that does come out a fair ways from the center. Yeah, so really, really simple on this one. Just a handful of pieces, but pretty specialized parts usage. So yeah, there we go. There is the TIE Defender. And in the show, I think there are two different variants. There's one with red accents and one with yellow accents. And those would be on the wings. So there really is no way that I could possibly do that at the scale that I work at. But you can just use your imagination and make it whichever variant you want in your head. All right, and the final TIE that I have to show you today is the TIE Advanced. I think it's called the TIE Advanced Prototype. But then that's what Darth Vader's one was called. I forget. This is the Inquisitor's TIE Advanced design. And like most TIE Advanced prototypes, it has the kind of elongated back section. It's a little bit of a different shape to Darth Vader's one, which I happen to have handy. So this one just has a more standard, just kind of fleshed out back portion. It's also a lot larger. But then this one has the taller wings that are that kind of curved shape, and they're predominantly gray with just a little bit of black, mostly on the inside, I think. So that kind of gives it a little bit of a unique look and feel, for this era. So, but other than that, there's pretty standard TIE construction for my, for my series. Just the 4x brick here in the middle, holding everything together, and then the hollow stud for the cockpit. Yeah, so other than the unique look of the wings, a pretty standard design. But yeah, I liked having yet another kind of prototype TIE in the works during the Rebels era. It really just shows that during that time period, the Empire was just expanding in all different directions, trying out everything that it could possibly try to maintain its power. So definitely helps to add to the kind of lore and mystique of the Empire. So I like that, and I like the ship. So there we go. Next up, we have the Wookie Gunship, which was seen, I believe, in the earlier episodes in the first season of the show. It's cool because it's very kind of reminiscent of other Star Wars gunships, that sort of recognizable helicopter design with the two cockpits there, and then this one having the big booms off to the side with these engines. Sort of, it almost gives it a look like the Osprey, the canceled, the recently canceled Lego set. And then it has a stabilizer fin off to the back, which I'm just representing with this cheese wedge because I don't have anything thinner than that at this scale. Yeah, and then I got an opportunity to use one of these newer double kind of sloped pieces from the Harry Potter line to kind of just represent this fuselage section back here. So I think that works out pretty well. And then a single large gun on the top. And yeah, there's really not that much to say about it. I like that it has kind of the camo gear, sort of the camo look to it, and that's a little bit different than some other Star Wars stuff that we've seen, maybe a little closer to real-world military stuff. You have clone troopers that wear camouflage, but the vehicles tend to be the sort of bold, bright colors. So this is kind of an interesting one. And then yeah, it just was nice to see some other Wookiee technology outside of just the very traditional looking wooden kind of crafted sailboats and weird kind of like dragonfly looking things that we saw in Revenge of the Sith. So it's nice to see this slightly more conventional craft. It just shows the Wookiees have a little bit more range in their engineering skills than we're familiar with. And yeah, it kind of helps to, again, deepen the Wookiee culture and the lore of that species. So I'm always a fan of that. So yeah, like I said, relatively simple one, but I'm happy with it. Next up, we have the Bladewing, which is, like I said before, the B-Wing prototype ship. I slightly changed up the way that I'm doing my B-Wings by having this much more flat, wing section represented. Instead of using a bar, I'm using the 1x3 plate here, as you can see, with the clips on either side. And I think that still maintains that nice front profile of it, but yeah, but it gives it that more kind of winged look from the side, which you want from your B-Wing. After all, it's not a B stick. So yeah, I was happy to be able to figure that out. And then I actually reflected that change in my Rebellion era B-Wing as well, and I think it looks much better. So really happy with that. But yeah, everything else stayed pretty much the same on that. I'm using a red lightsaber hilt to represent the cockpit on this one. And you know, like all B-wing designs, the idea is the cockpit would rotate around, keeping the pilot level while the ship rotates around it. This one has these 3 laser guns that sort of, it's almost like a Death Star laser effect. When they fire, they all come together to form a single super strong beam. So that's pretty cool. I don't know if we ever actually saw anything like that in the original trilogy. I have to look closely in the background battle scenes to see what the B-wings look like when they're firing. But yeah, I don't believe we ever got to see anything like that. So that was really cool. And the scene where Hera first takes off and flies us around through the canyons and is just blasting stuff and just absolutely gleeful flying this super fast ship was really fun. So definitely glad to be able to put that in there with the fleet, with the rest of the collection. So yeah, there is the Bladewing Prototype. Next up we have Ryder Azadi's Ewing, and Ryder is kind of a fun sort of rebel sympathizer and rebel ally, and he has a Ewing that has been modified. This is my standard design for a Ewing right here, and it has the 4 engines, as you can see, that differentiates it from this one, and the front wings extend out much further. I don't know if in this design they've been damaged or they've been deliberately cut short, and they have all this kind of complicated stuff here at the front, and then there's like cargo containers attached underneath the wings, so that's fun. I still have it where the wings can open. This one doesn't have the front-mounted cannons like on the original one that I have here, like that. So this one just has the flat front, and then yeah, with the we never actually see, I don't think, those wings open up in the show. I'm due for a rewatch. I'm still actually finishing my Clone Wars rewatch. But yeah, so that'll be, I'll definitely take a look at that, and if it turns out that they cannot be opened, then I'll just make it so that these can't open, because I don't want anyone doing anything that they're not supposed to with their designs that is non-canon. No, I'm just kidding. But yeah, I'll just go ahead and take out, so I can remove these from the hinges. It'll just be a smoother, smoother look overall, if that turns out to be the case. But you can tell me down in the comments and save me the time. So that's the beauty of YouTube. Just using this minifig hand down here to represent what on the real thing is like a bunch of looks like antenna and poles and sticks and all kinds of things that come out of the front of this kind of scaffolding, like bare bones wing structure up here. So that's fun. And yeah, Ryder's a pretty cool character. I like his voice and I like his overall characterization. So it's cool to get his ship in here. It's a very unique one, and I like it a lot. So there is Ryder's Ewing. Next up, we'll take a look at Captain Rex's modified ATTE, and I just wanted to give you guys a look at what I think is kind of funny. The Phantom here, when the Phantom is docked with either the Ghost, like it's represented as being back here, like this is supposed to be, you know, the same thing tucked in back there. I just ended up leaving off the back hatch for this one because to make it easier to fit on here, but essentially the Phantom takes off, it has these folding out wings, and then when it lands it has the folded in wings. So including the one that's in the ship, I have 3 different representations of this very kind of innocuous ship that really didn't, you know, do that much ultimately in the canon, but I just have so many different versions of it, which I find funny, and there's the Phantom 2 back there. So it's getting the Ghost out of the way, and the other superfluous Phantoms. Here is Captain Rex's ATTE, and yeah, when the Rebels crew find Rex and the other clones, Wolf and Gregor, they have been on the run and in hiding for a long time, and they've modified a standard ATTE, which looks like this. One of these right here. They've modified it and they've turned it into kind of like a houseboat, and they live on this planet where they have to fish for these giant, weird, like snake worm creature things to eat. That's how they live, and so they've turned it into kind of a fishing trawler kind of a vehicle, and you can still see like the bones and the kind of structure of this underneath, but obviously it's been changed a whole lot, and I'll show you what the changes are. So it has one rusty foot back here, or a rusty leg, and it has a lot of kind of like rickety bits that are installed all around, like little walkways. There's stairs that go up to the second deck. You can tell by all the different colors of the panels and stuff that this This metal has all been salvaged from other things that they've found along the way. And there's a couple of cranes up here, which I'm just representing with these tap pieces, these faucet pieces. And those are just used to, get the cargo that they need up, get their supplies and ferry it up to the top deck there. There's these large, like, net type structures off to the side that kind of look like rigging on a pirate ship. I think it's supposed to kind of evoke that feel. And then there's this big front platform that's been added where it's like a grated walkway that the characters can come out and stand at the front here and look out. And these are two, like, fishing rods, I guess you'd say, the equipment for their fishing. And then this cannon has been modified to fire off this, like, strange, like, energy bolt thing. And I think this is just an antenna. So yeah, they've definitely changed this thing up a whole bunch. Oh, and they've installed a back door here as well, which is, again, a different color, just to show that it was added after the fact. Yeah, and then so they just extend these out here, and they have this lure under here, which is this like glowing stone crystal thing that draws the creatures in, and then they catch them and they eat them. So that's what the clones are up to in the Rebels timeline, so I think that's fun. This thing had such a cool, like, Miyazaki Howl's Moving Castle type of whimsical feel to it that when they showed it in the trailer for Rebels, that was the first time I think I was truly excited for an upcoming season of Rebels, because up until that point I think the show had been pretty good, but I think it really hit its stride once the clones came back and Ahsoka and the whole gang were back together, so I think that was really cool. Let me just put these side by side to show you again. So I've kept the scale the same, other than the things that I've added on. Like, it truly is added on to this, so if I was to strip everything away that I've added, you should end up back with something that looks roughly like this. So I think that was fun and kind of an important thing to do to make it feel authentic, like this really is the same vehicle. And then so when your Phantom wants to dock, just like in the show, they place it here on the top deck. It has enough room for them to land, and the crew disembarks and sees what's up. So here's what it all looks like fully loaded up. So I really like that. I think it's cool that the Phantom can just kind of dock with anything. That's fun. Yeah, and so this is Captain Rex's ATTE. This was a really, really fun one to design, really challenging with all the different colors and the tiny little details, and just the really, really, just figuring out all the kind of tolerances to get everything to clip in exactly the right way so that it all fits. Was really fun. So yeah, this was a really cool one, and one of my new favorite additions to the fleet. And in the bonus round, we're in overtime right now, and I'm going to show you guys a little bit of something extra that I wasn't planning on showing, but I think it makes sense for the context here. I've converted my original AT-AT Walker design into the AT-CT from Rogue One. That has the orange kind of cargo crates and everything, and it has the red windshield at the front, so it looks more menacing, just like the TIE Reaper does. And the reason I did that is that the scale that I've made this to actually fits much more closely, in fact almost exactly, with the AT-ACT, and a regular AT-AT is shorter than that, and I've now redesigned the AT-AT Walker. I'll probably give you guys another look at that in a different video, but it's essentially the same thing, but just with shorter legs and different design for the feet to give it a little bit less height, and there we go. So the reason I wanted to show you this together is because in the show, in Rebels, there's this really epic moment where the modified ATTE goes up against one of these large walkers. It's not exactly the same model as the one in Rogue One, because this has been modified to carry cargo, but it is the same size. It's a larger version, like a larger early prototype of the AT-AT. So I just wanted to give you a look at those side by side for scale purposes, so you can imagine that that cool kind of final confrontation, clones versus stormtroopers, who is the best battle scene, which I really love. So yeah, there you go. Those are those next to each other. Just wanted to give you a look. So there we go. Once again, Captain Rex's ATTE. All right, you guys. So there is the whole kind of Rebels family together there. I just dropped in also the Mining Guild tie there as well. I think the show was such a fun, weird kind of addition to the Star Wars canon. Like, it had so many strange, cool excursions and opened up so many new avenues about the Force and about the galaxy that we all know and love. So yeah, I really, really like the show, and I'm going to keep diving back in and seeing what other vehicles I can still adapt. But I'm really happy with the collection so far, and I think that this really strengthens the fleet overall, and it gives it a really nice presence, especially the Ghost looks really great amongst all the rest of the fleet. And I really like the the modified ATTE as well. Looks really cool. So yeah, definitely super big fan of this show and of this collection. And yeah, I think I'm just going to go ahead and get to work on the next video and show you guys the new ships that I have lined up. A couple of really fun ones coming up to show you from the Clone Wars. So yeah, I'm going to get to work on that, and I'll see you guys on the next one. So thanks again for watching, and may the Force be with you.